Campers, this is Angie with Peach Orchard Creations, and I am one of the 6 designers for Quilt Camp Quilt Along 2021. Today is our start of week 1 and it's fabric pull. I am so pumped to share this with you. So for the tester version, I used the Prism fabrics from Giuseppe, I think is how you say it. I should look that up. But he did a fantastic job designing prisms, and that's what I used for that quilt. And then this round, I'm going to use some Art Gallery fabrics, pure solids. Today, I'll be sharing with you how I come up with my palettes, what tools I use to do that, and some tips and tricks to store and use your fabric as we move through this quilt along. So let's roll. First off, when I am designing a solid palette, if I have inspiration like this one, this palette was inspired. I kept thinking of summer, what do I love about summer? And I just kept thinking about how my daughter loves to play outside in her play dresses, and they are beautiful. And I just had bought her a new summer play dress, and it was literally these colors, and I was like, that's it, that's the palette. It's whimsical, it's light, it's super summery, and it was perfect. So how do I go from a dress to a bundle of fabric and fabric colors? Well, you can either use chip cards, which are the little cards that have the different colors of fabric and the different color and the different fabric lines, or I use playcrafts.com. Actually has a palette builder, and you can take a picture of whatever it is. I took a picture of the dress, uploaded it on there, and I was able to then have it pull colors from it. You can move the eyedroppers around and pick the exact colors you want. And then on that Playcrafts palette builder, it gives me the Bella Solids for Moda Fabrics, but I'm just a Art Gallery Fabrics Pure Solid lover. So I went ahead and pulled out my color card for Pure Solids and matched it from there. All my fabrics came from Lamb and Loom Fabric. Shout out to her, she is fantastic. And I am just pumped to share this with you. So we start off at the bottom with Arrow Blue, Grapefruit, Tender Green, Summer Sun, and Canary. These just seriously scream summer to me, especially with a young daughter. So I wanted to share with you how I store my fabric. I love and have worked with mini bolts for a long time now. Almost 2 years I've been using these mini bolts, and I love them. A mini bolt is this acid-free plastic. It has these little cutouts right here to catch the fabric, and then you can wrap it. These are so handy. It keeps my fabric so organized, clean, tidy, and I know that I'm not gonna have any damage on my fabric from these because they're acid-free on both sides. Super smooth, rounded corners. You can either stand them, put them in a drawer, or you can even hang them, and then they have bolt buddies that go on them as well. So I've already got these loaded, but just super handy. They'll fit on my shelf. They stay well stacked on my cutting table. I don't have a bunch of mess going around. It's super nice. Okay, so how to load a bolt, a mini bolt, okay? It's super easy. You just take your fabric, I lay it lengthwise down the table and fold it in half. I like my salvage to hang out so I can read and see the name of it if it has a name printed on it. This color doesn't, but like this tender green does. So it's super nice to have the name printed right there where I can read it easily and know what the fabric manufacturer is, because I do have quite a bit of fabric. And then all you do is simply lay this over, tuck the fabric on here like that. There we go. Hold it right here and roll. And then all of my fabric will go on here. Keeps it super neat, super organized, really easy to cut off of, and I just really enjoy it. If you don't have mini bolts, don't fret. There's another way. I'm going to show you how to store and use your fabric when you're cutting long yardage. This is part of our, I believe, week 13 giveaway. So if you love the idea of these mini bolts, they are so handy, so handy. You can have the opportunity to win these on week 13. So make sure you start that if you're interested in the mini bolts. So say you don't have mini bolts, no biggie. Here's how I get my fabric. I go ahead and do the same process That way it's easy for me to cut my fabric. I don't like to have just a big sheet of fabric just flopping around all over the place. It drives me literally insane. So this is my solution. Before I had mini bolts, I would just fold it. I like to do about 6 inches, and then I just put my finger right here and flip. Again, I like to have the selvage facing out because right here it can see it says PE 514 Summer Sun. So easily I know what it is if I need more. There we go. And booyah, right there. And so then I can just store them like this and keep them stacked like this right on my cutting table. I can roll it out, cut what I need, roll it back into itself, and be golden. And that is how I like to use my fabric as I'm doing a long project like this, especially where I don't want to make my cutting table a disaster. So my other tip for storing fabric through this process is just getting like a simple plastic shoe container or whatever type of like a bin you have. And I like to keep these on the cutting table with my different fabrics for my different projects. That way I don't just have stacks on my cutting table. I can easily pick this bin up, get it off my cutting table if I need more space. So the nice thing is when you have it folded like this fits right down in there. And then if I cut, you know, a chunk of 4.5 inch with the fabric strip off this, and I only need like 4 squares out of it, and I can put that back in here, and I can pull from it through the rest of the quilt along and really be savvy about my fabric usage. Even the mini bolts fit in here, which I love. So I can just lay those over, flip through them, and again, flip this up, put any excess fabric I have down here in the bottom, and it just keeps it really neat, organized. I can see everything I have, and I really like that. I like how portable it is. I do jump back and forth between my big cutting table and this area where I make these videos for y'all. So, last thing I wanted to talk about as far as week 1 goes. Couldn't put this on my mini bolt. As I tell you, when you go through this quilt along, we have fabrics A through E, and you can decide to use the same fabric for fabric A the entire time, which I'm going to do with this set of colors, or you can do what I did with my prism quilt. I chose my favorite fabric, which was the splatter fabric, and I would look at each block pattern at the start, and I would say, okay, fabric B has the most fabric in this block, and I would assign splatter to that one. So that's how I did the prism quilt. I've got a blog up to that. I'll link that below, but that's kind of how you can do it. And 1.25 yards, like we have on the fabric requirements, will be plenty to do that. Or you can even just change it up with each block. Just look at the block and see, you know, what fabric you want and what area of the block design. That's the best thing about this pattern is the graphics are so on point. You'll be able to really tell and have great fabric placement if you choose to do it where you put a different fabric with the associated letter each time. So that's all I have for week 1 fabric pull. Reminder for the weekly giveaways, make sure you post your picture by Sunday night before the next week starts. Make sure you're following our sponsors, Noodle and Bee and White Plains Quilt Co. for this week's giveaways. And all those details will be over on Instagram as well as in your weekly email that you will get on Mondays to kick off the week. I hope you have super fun with your fabric pull. Share, share, share. We totally want to see them. And I cannot wait to see what the rest of this awesome camp has in store for us. Talk to you soon.